I'd like to welcome everybody today to the December 2025 Planning and Zoning Board meeting. And as always, I'd like to start this off with a prayer. And Cisco, if you would lead us in prayer, please.
Let us pray. Most heavenly gracious Father, we thank you for this day which you've given us, the many blessings which you bestow upon us, Lord. We thank you for our city and for what it means to us, Lord, and us as a board, Father. We ask that you give us guidance, wisdom, discernment, Lord, to make the decisions that will be pleasing to you. Lord, bless this city, its citizens, its employees, Lord, and all that come through here. And we ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Along with most of Goodlettsville and Nashville, I've had all this crud and had laryngitis last week, so I'll try to make it through tonight. First item of business is to approve the agenda, both the consent and regular agenda. One note is there's 5 items on the consent agenda, and we'll listen to all 5 items. And if we can, we'll approve all of those with one motion. If we need to take anything out for further discussion, a separate vote, we'll do that. Besides that, Adam, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Mayor Tennant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. McNeil. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Item number 2 is to approve the November 3rd meeting minutes. Has everybody had a chance to go over that? And if so, are there any changes that need to be made? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from November 3rd? Motion to approve. Motion by Mr. Barnfield. Anybody, do I have a second? Second by Mr. Parnell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Item number 3 is a public forum. Anybody that in the audience would like to come and address the board, now's the time to do that. We just ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there anybody in the audience that'd like to come down front to address us? Looks like everybody's shy tonight, so I don't see anybody coming down. Do I have a motion to close the public forum? So moved by Mr. McNeil. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mayor Tennant. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We're now down to the consent agenda. There's 5 items, items 4 through 8. Adam, you want to take it from here?
Okay. As you can see, what we'll do, I'll go through all these items, then if there's anything we want to discuss, we can. Ideally with these, we have a single motion. So the options would be we approve of the consent agenda items 4 through 8, including the staff stipulations with any defined, and any additional comments by the Planning Commission, which is my recommendation, or we deny the consent agenda items, or we defer the consent agenda items. First one is, this is on Madison Creek Road, 1324. The proposal is to subdivide the property currently. Hold on a sec, we're getting the flipper out right quick. All right. As you can see on the right-hand side, that's the entire 26-acre property as it currently stands. They're proposing to cut off roughly shy of an acre lot here for the existing house, have a 5+ acre lot next to it, 5.10, and then the remaining 19 acres, over 500 feet of road frontage. The only comment I have on the plats, TDEC has to sign the subdivision plat because there is no sewer out here, so it's subsurface septic sewer, so they'll need to show those lines. Lot 1, since it exists in an older home, I'm sure they will just for what it is currently. I'm sure it probably doesn't have a map one, but we will need to make that. So that was my stipulation about that. So motion options when approved, the subdivision plat meets our requirements, and both our zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations with the stipulation of the TNEC signature block on the plat. You could approve it, we could deny it. If we feel like during the meeting it doesn't meet those rules, or we could defer the request to include any defined revisions needed to correct the plat. Next one is Copper Creek, Section 1B. It's a bond. This is the very back section. There's 15 lots. 12 of the 15 are completed or under construction. Remaining items of final asphalt paving, a couple street lights, some finished grading, stabilization, some sidewalk sections. Estimate for the cost, about $225,000. Motion option would be approve a one-year bond at the current amount of $246,000, or approve a one-year bond extension at a different amount determined by the Planning Commission. My understanding, they have talked to Public Works, the goal hopefully to pave that pretty soon, get that moving. The next one is our 2026 meeting and plan submittal review schedule. We kind of kept with the same timeline. It's roughly a 5-week review process because we have consultant engineers we use, so to kind of meet with their we're one of their clients, so we just can't tell them, drop everything they're doing, so we have to kind of work within that. The only change to the meeting is September due to the Labor Day holiday. It'll be the September 14th, so a little bit later in the month. Motion option on that would be to approve the 26th meeting and submittal calendar, which would be my recommendation, or if we want to alter any of the dates, the Planning Commission can do that. Next one is the proposal. The properties in the Rivergate Mall development area, they're continuing on with that project, going through the administration side of it. As you can see, currently there are tons of properties in this thing. The Davidson County City Goodlettsville boundary is this line that cuts through the middle. So this proposal we're seeing tonight is to put that area, the Goodlettsville portion, except the Dillard's is kind of on its own deal, to put that into 2 large tracts. Lot 2 here, and that's expanded upon where the original Macy's area was. It's that plus some, and then Lot 1, this other odd shape. Metro Planning is also reviewing this because portion of this property is in Metro jurisdiction also. So that's my understanding. Their goal is to combine them all, but they also want to kind of sell off Lot 2, and we'll talk about that later on in the agenda also. So it's just a lot combination and to create this Lot 2 off. Staff stipulation on that Lot 2, we need to extend the public utility easement to the boundary of proposed Lot 2 for future extension of services to the existing water and sewer mains there. And the motion options would be to approve the subdivision plats with the stipulation since it meets our requirements. We could deny it or we could defer it. The key with the defer and the denial would be given a reason, because this is a subdivision plat, it's an administrative deal. The Planning Commission has to give a reason, and if we don't take action, then 60 days automatically approved. Keep going down. This is a request, our Mall Stripe Park. They're going through a TDEC grant for traffic flow and pedestrian flow. Here, the blue is your sidewalk. The red is roadway pavement. This is a preliminary plan. The city's already got the grant. This is administration for the grant. We've been working through this. The goal is to improve the traffic flow out here. You'll see a lot of two-way traffic and improve pedestrian connections, and they're altering some of the existing parking. So motion opposite there will be approval of the preliminary plan or defer to including additional information. So that's the consent agenda items. I mean, I don't put anything on the consent agenda unless I feel like it should be approved. But there are some stipulations on there. If there's any other questions y'all have about any of them, we can put those additional stipulations on that.
Okay, as you can see, there are 5 different consent agenda items. First question, are there any of these items do we need to discuss further? One question.
Item number 4, is that, sorry, item number 4, is that, if we approve it, is that approved, or does that have to go to city council after us?
Item number 4 is the one on.
Is it Ralph Estate property?
No, it's already zoned. No, it's just, we're the only approval.
So we approve it, it's approved.
Mhm.
Done deal. Okay.
Yeah, because it's zoned to R40, so they're subdividing it for the R40.
Okay, so basically, they've met all the qualifications that the city puts out there for a subdivision of an R40.
Mm-hmm. And Lot 2, it's over 5 acres. Talk to the surveyor. It really didn't even have to be on there. It could be done by deed. But since they had to go through TDEC, I think the goal was just to show the field lines on it.
Yeah. Okay, so as long as the soil work shows that it supports what they're trying to do, we approve it here, it'll go through and, okay, very good, thank you.
Any other items anybody wants to discuss? So we'll be looking for a motion to, for all 5 items, and if it's a motion to approve, it will be with any stipulations that Adam has put on these items. So do I have a motion on the 5 consent items? Mr. Parnell moves to approve all 5 consent items. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Barnesfield. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We're now ready for the regular agenda items 9 through 13. Item number 9 is a public hearing and on the on the comprehensive land use plan. Is anybody here in the audience wishes to address item number 9? Seeing no one come up, I'm assuming that we can close this. I have a motion to close the public hearing for the comprehensive land use plan. So moved by Mr. McNeil. Second. Second by Mr. Gilmore. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Public hearing is closed. Item number 10.
We need to vote, I guess, vote on that for 9. You may explain it right quick.
Yes.
Okay. This is the adoption of the comprehensive plan. This is the 6th time we talked about this. By state law, this board is the only board that has to review and approve a comprehensive plan. The city commission and then the county commissioner all, it's something they can do. It's rare that they do, but this board's it. We had to advertise a 30-day public hearing, so we've advertised it a couple weeks ago. Really, the only change, I'm just gonna go over the changes since the last version of this. Like I said, this is the 6th time we look at it. But at the October 30th study session, we had some key things that changed, and I wanted to reflect those here. In your packet, I didn't include the thing because we have links to it. It's online. It really needs to be looked at online, the way Sean put together, where you can zoom in. It looks great. So the printout wouldn't have done it justice, but it is there. It's on our website. It'll stay on our website after this. So rural residential, this was a lot of discussion at the October 30th study session. As you can see, the rural area is a large area. It's all the Madison Creek, the Loop out there, Patton Branch, Happy Hollow, Hogan's Branch, our sections, our urban growth boundary in Sumner County, all this area out Long Hollow Pike, a section of Hit Lane, where there's a bunch of ag zoning now. So what we did, we kept it, say, as it is right now, most of this area is zoned R40, so our goal is to keep that. So if you're just wanting to cut a lot off, like we saw on Madison Creek, have to be a minimum roughly an acre property. But if you want to do a development, you'd have to come in and do a low-density plan unit development. At the study session on the 30th, they felt like there needs to be allowance for this. This doesn't mean that the city would approve these developments, but a provision in place to review low-density developments only. Currently, the comprehensive plan in these areas, it's considered low-density residential development, and it goes up to 3 units an acre. So this is a big change, but I think at the 30th study session, there was a goal not to go too far, like saying everything only an acre plus lot. So this would allow general provision for low-density plan unit development, 1.5 minimum or maximum units per acre. So this is not going to be any kind of high-density type thing. Minimum 100 feet wide lots. We talked about a minimum 25% open space in those developments and include reduced sidewalk installation and streetscape landscaping. The goal was these developments we do in this area, we want to fit as a rural setting. So that's why the bigger lots and the lower density. All right, the residential neighborhood preservation portion. If you remember, we had one called a residential extension, a neighborhood extension. It was kind of an area set aside where we would say, hey, this is where development we feel like should occur. We took that out. I think there was some feelings that wasn't needed. So what that kind of does, our residential neighborhood preservation, all those properties got linked thrown under it. So basically what that will mean, in vacant properties in that area, the goal was they would be consistent, generally consistent with the density and design of the adjacent areas. So the goal is the zoning really dictates by kind of what's established in those areas. Some of those areas do have high density, and I'll get to that in a minute. So applicable zoning districts, this would apply to all our zoning districts. The goal for new developments, anything, I always say, anytime they're building a public street, those kind of improvement developments we want to, in a planned unit development. You know, somebody wants to cut off a lot on an existing street, that's one thing. But to do a development, it requires road construction or multiple lots. We want to see it in a planned unit development. So high density would be linked under this. So like you see on this is not just for low density. This is basically whatever neighborhood it's in, that zoning would dictate, the existing zoning in the area. We talked about in the study session, there are 9 properties. I included the 10th, that's the Pine Ridge that we know well on South Dickerson there. But there are 10 properties currently zoned high-density residential. These are all consistent with our current comprehensive plan. So none of these rezonings were done at a time or inconsistent with our plan. Actually amended the comprehensive plan for the Pine Ridge on South Dickerson. So if you can see, here's the 10 properties. They're all in areas where there's high density or with medium density around it, and that light brown is our high density. So I'll go through these right quick. So the reason I want to bring these up, because there was a question at the study session, do we want to rezone these properties where they can no longer be high density? Because high density, in our comprehensive plan going forward, we do not have a high density zone set aside. The goal is future high density would be limited to our commercial core overlay, we've already established, the regional center, that'd be the mall redevelopment, both sections, the North Main Street corridor overlay. So the goal is high density would be limited to that. The goal is not to do areas set aside in the future just for high density. We want it, those areas really are more commercial setting with the high density mixed in, more mixed use in those locations. So property number 1, we've talked about this one before with this board. It's a little over 6 acres. It's on the east side of I-65 sound wall there. It is on high-density planning development. There's no development plans for it. This is the one, we've dealt with the one in front of it several times. You know, it's right there. So it is high density, and the properties around it are zoned high density. Property number 2, on down Monticello. It is 3.7 acres, zoned high-density residential planning development. Has a current master plan, current vested rights for 28 lots. Then we're going down, number 3, it's a property roughly 6 acres. It's right by the railroad tracks, if you know that area going West Monticello to the new Nashville School down there on the left. It's zoned high density. It has no master plan or vested rights. It's just, the city used those high density zonings back in the day as like a base zone. That's why some of these don't have any plans associated with it. Property number 4, we know this one well, Dry Creek Cottages. It's the 16 lots. You know, we've had recently the request to add a property in the back of it, but that has active vested rights. It's got 12 or 14 detached one-family and 1 2-unit, 2-family unit, but we know that property well. Number 5, that's a 5.8-acre property on Dickerson Road, or I'm sorry, on Dry Creek Road, zone high-density residential. It's part of an old master plan, Rivergate Acres, which was what this area was generally called. There's no current master plan. This stuff's 20 years old now. This is limited by drainage. If you go down Dry Creek, there's the church on the left, then there's the apartments, the one-story ones, and there's that vacant property before you get into the neighborhood. It's that vacant property there. Number 6, another roughly 6-acre tract on Dry Creek Road. It's across the street. We do have a current plan for it, Dry Creek Villages, for 37 townhome units, so it's active vested rights on it. Property number 7, Dry Creek, 2.5 acres, is zoned high density. There's no current master plan, no vested rights on it. If you know, this property has got a lot of floodplain on it, so it's limited by drainage. So you can see a lot of these areas along Dry Creek where it was previously zoned high density residential. Property number 8 over here on Old Dickerson, south of Robert Cartwright Dry Creek, where that comes out here, is 31 acres. It's a long tract. It was originally part of the 2003 Dry Creek Farms Master Plan. It includes 72 condo multifamily units and 6 estate lots. But that plan is 2003, so the vested rights have expired, but it was based on an original master plan. Number 9 is a recent project. we rezoned a property, roughly the back 6 acres of a 7-acre tract. If you remember, it's for 75 apartments, and the front of it was commercial. Those vested rights just expired in July, so zoning is per, a master plan that was approved. And number 10, that's the Pine Ridge, it's 20 acres, 117 townhouses, does have active vested rights. So the reason I bring these up, because there was question, do we want to maybe assign some area to take away these as high density? Because the goal was not to have a lot of high density going forward. We do have areas where it's setting, like I mentioned, those defined areas where our plan already referenced it. When I look at these properties, I really don't find the high density in those locations bad uses due to the surrounding areas, the property itself. But if that's something we feel we'd want to take that ability away for it to be high density in the future, that's something we can talk about. The ones with active vested development rights, those rights apply as long as they stay current regardless of the zoning.
What are the vested rights or?
Yeah, state of Tennessee a couple years ago did, they called vested development rights, where, once a developer, owner gets a piece of property, get it rezoned, there's a whole mechanism in place. Like, you get rezoning, you have 3 years that plan's valid. If during that 3 years you get like a site plan done, then it's 2 more years. Then after, you got 5 years to start the project where it's allowed to continue regardless. The city takes away the zoning like we did on Conference Drive with now it's the Hilton True. If you remember, the city removed the high density or the hotels out of that district, but that one was approved, have vested rights. So regardless, I took the zoning out, they were still able to proceed with those vested rights. Protections for the property owner, but there's things they got to do to keep them active. And then those vested rights, when you get in developments, they can be up to 10 to 15 years in addition to it. So it's just the state of Tennessee to find, when somebody gets approval, cities approve plans, they have rights to that for a defined amount of time. So we can't remove that.
So if the vested rights have expired, then you could change the zoning?
You could, yeah. And the question would be with that, what other zoning districts would we want to see that? Because like I said, a lot of these are in areas where they're surrounded by high density already. But that was one of the things we talked about at the study session. I got the feeling that, where they were located and that some of them had vested rights, that, it wouldn't be an issue. But I wanted to bring that up, make sure before we adopt this, because currently I've lumped these all into the neighborhood preservation area, which is based on development's going to occur in those areas, what's consistent with the area. So they would be able to, since these areas are consistent, high density, they would be able to go forward in the future if they come in with plans, subject to approval, of course, they have to meet our design guidelines and all those requirements. What are you asking about? Yeah, are you talking about which ones are vested? Okay, 1 doesn't have them. 1 never had any vested rights, just the zoning. 2, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9.
Adam, will the time period that the moratorium has been in place, will that affect that? I mean, because the vested rights period of time is paused during the moratorium. So does that change anything?
Well, the way we did our moratorium, if they were vested, they were allowed to continue anyways.
Okay, but I'm just saying.
So it wouldn't have stopped. The time wouldn't have had to stop because they had the right to continue it. If they were vested with plans approved, they could have started within the 1-year moratorium period.
Okay.
The goal was just not to rezone new properties or approve master plans. These ones that don't have vested rights, a lot of them don't have a current master plan. So they weren't vested under they wouldn't have been protected under the moratorium, so.
So now, right now, they are zoned high density.
All these are, yeah.
If we zoned it a different, something lower than high density, then if somebody came in and had a high density plan, we could change the zoning to that. But if we don't change it, then they could come in and say it's already zoned, we're gonna put it in there.
Still would have to have plans approved. to meet
Yeah,
our
but-
requirements.
But it'd be hard to tell somebody you can't put high density if it's zoned high density.
That's correct.
Does that make sense?
I guess that's the process we'll go, we just need to know what zoning to put on these. Really, the only one I see, really not, number 8 is the only one I see that you could probably look at different zoning, just do the area. The rest of them are, you look at 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's high density, that whole area down Dry Creek. But, yeah, especially number 7 and 6, we dealt with floodplain issues on number 6. Now, number 6 is the company that has Dry Creek Commons on top of the hill. That's where they're going next. We've already in talks to them about them taking that, like it's almost like a phase 3 for them for the project they're working on now. In Monticello Avenue, I'll just show you number 12, which was, we extended the vested rights on it earlier this year, if y'all remember that one. Number 13 is south. If you know the presidential townhouse like home with the Thomas Jefferson name, it's right in between that. It's like a higher density. It's like 13 units an acre, or old high density. So that area there along the train track, high density is not inappropriate for that. I don't think any of these areas that are high density are inappropriate because they were based on the city's comprehensive plan, the current plan we got. They're either master plan, zoning, or they're based on original comprehensive plan. If the city feels we want to look at rezoning these, I would think we want to defer this tonight, and I can come back with some options. Those were the major changes, really. The plan looks great. Sean did an incredible job with it. If y'all get to see it, all the background information of it, the way it's put together looks great. It's very user-friendly. You go through it, so real proud of it. But motion options, one, we could approve the comprehensive plan as presented by staff. Of course, that's my recommendation. I feel like we've went through this, put together a great plan for us. Number 2, approve the comprehensive plan, including any amendments determined by the Planning Commission if we feel anything needs to change. Or 3, we could defer the request and review additional amendments during a study session. That would be if we, really the key there is if we want to get rid of those high density, come up some different zones, some districts for them.
Are there any questions for Adam? Or any discussion amongst ourselves on this? And do we have a motion? Staff recommended approval of this comprehensive land use plan. Do we have a motion for that or a motion to defer? Ms. Parnell moves to approve the plan as presented. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Wheeler. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Plan is adopted.
And the comprehensive plan and then the zoning ordinance a couple weeks ago basically fulfilled the moratorium requirements. If you remember, we did all those about the materials and all that stuff. So, thank you all for your time. I know it was a lot. 2005 wasn't a slow year, so I know y'all took a lot of time coming to extra meetings and stuff for it.
So, Adam, did you get the direction you was needing in regards to the rezoning of those parcels? I mean, I never heard if you did.
Yeah, it was decided to leave them.
Okay, we ready for item number 10?
Mm-hmm.
All right, item number 10 is the Rivergate Master Plan. Adam?
All right. If you remember, the Rivergate Master Plan, we did it in 2 phases. The original phase 1 was the Macy's area. So it was originally approved. We did a phase 2 with the rest of the mall area. So there's a requested change. Currently in this blue area here, the original approval included a 120-room hotel, 17,000 square feet of retail, a 340-unit apartment complex, and 105 townhomes. That was originally approved. What they're proposing now to come in, change that around, would be to have a 51,000 square foot grocery retail, another 30, I can't see it from here, roughly, number 36,000 square feet of retail restaurant, maintain the townhomes, and the apartments would move. The goal is for them to move somewhere else in the project. They're trying to work some deals. So the goal is not to get rid of the apartments, just relocate them. So on the corner up here, the front area, the goal is to have more of the commercial, the retail-oriented stuff. So motion options will be, approve the master plan amendment based on the request meeting the intention for a commercial retail space component of the mixed-use redevelopment area, and not overall altering the original master plan. 2, we could deny it if we feel like it's going away from the original master plan provision for mixed-use intention of the whole project, or defer the request and include additional information. And reviewing this, to me, the big difference is replacing the hotel and the smaller retail for larger retail. That's really what it is. In talking with the developer representatives, if this was a request where they were taking commercial and won't do apartments, I would think that need to go on to the city commission. That's a substantial change. To me, this is altering the existing commercial within it. Not altering the residential, they're relocating some of the residential on in the project. So I didn't really feel like it was something that would require city commission review of a revised master plan, because I felt like this was something originally the city was pushing for more retail over the other uses. I felt like it was a positive, so I recommend approval of it. But they're here if there's any questions. So.
I guess I should have asked before, is there anybody here representing item number 10? Okay, you want to come down front and tell us your name and make any comments?
Good evening, members of the commission. Kate Jarash, Maris, LLC. You've seen me here before for this project. I think Adam stated it pretty well. We are changing around our uses location on site to make a more commercial forward on Rivergate and Rivergate. So with that, I'll open it up to questions.
Mr. Chairman,
Any questions?
my question would be actually for Adam, or will we be gaining more commercial space, retail out of this and losing the apartments?
We're trading basically the hotel for additional retail.
Okay.
Really, to me, that's the gist of it, because really the residential is not really, we're not getting rid of the residential, they're just relocating the apartments. The townhomes are original, I think they're staying for the original, but that's the big change to me, that we're replacing the 120-room hotel, the 17,000 square foot of smaller shops for the larger retail component.
Any other questions?
To piggyback on that, I guess, so it sounds like the plan for a hotel is going away from the project entirely?
No, we had 2 hotels and now we have 1.
Okay.
And I think the second one's was roughly in the metro section originally?
No, it's
Okay,
still, it's on the
still in
Goodlettsville
Goodlettsville,
side. Yeah, we're looking, there was the section that had the sports and entertainment use. That'll be likely going away in lieu of moving more commercial forward, a use of actual sales tax generating commercial forward, and moving the apartments to that side. But we're not totally done reformulating that. We'll come back when we are.
Okay, very good.
And the planning commission would still have to review, we still have to do the site plan for the, I know they're just they're working out deals with the ownership right now, so.
Any other questions? Any idea what type of retail that we can be expecting?
I wish I knew. We've asked the developer that same question. They are still formulating their plan, but there will be restaurants. I know that is a question every time I'm here, so there will be more restaurants in that area.
One of them was a grocery. I know you can't name any brands or anything, but that's one of a grocery component, the
Yeah.
51,000.
Yeah, that is pending approval by the actual grocer.
Okay.
And then, does this change the phase of construction at all?
Does not.
Everything still is planned?
Everything is still as planned. Our streets have not moved. The one thing we did do was actually take out a street. So what was called Road A through there will no longer be. It'll be served by its internal roads all to regulations as far as fire access and so forth. And then we'll continue with the roads on the rest of the plan.
So then the hotel is just coming at it later?
Yes, the hotel is in the northeast corner.
Okay. Where it was proposed originally?
Yes.
Okay.
Who owns the property now, and who owns the street going in front of BJ's, and between BJ's and the mall?
A little bit of everybody. The owner of Macy's owns the majorities, the vacant Macy's owns the majority of this land with a little bit of the core of the mall.
The reason I've asked, I mean, I made that trek 10 times in the last week to avoid I-65, and I've noticed that four-way stop right in front of BJ's, and there's not a car in the parking lot where there's need of a four-way stop. That's the reason I was asking, so. Okay. Any other questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion for this. Let's see where. Give me just a second. To approve the master plan, to deny or to defer. And I see no stipulations requested.
Mr. Chairman, I make the motion to approve the master plan amendment.
We have a motion to approve by Mr. Gilmore. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesfield. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hurry up and get busy.
We're going as fast as we can. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're looking for, we're ready for item number 11. Dollar General Corporation requests recommendation to the City of Goodlettsville Commission to close a section of the Mission Ridge Drive public road right-of-way. Is there anybody here representing Dollar General?
It's actually a recommendation from the city to this board to abandon the right-of-way of Mission Ridge, and I'll take care of that. My conversations with Dollar General.
Okay.
All right, this is, like Tim said, it came from the city commission, but it is something this board has to review and give a recommendation to them. The goal is Mission Ridge. Here's Conference Drive. The red outline would be the right-of-way in question. My understanding, Dollar General owns all this around it. They're in the process, or we're understanding, to purchase this. They want all the property around the whole road. So did we, an abandonment, the property would become theirs. So there are some, the city's looking at making them do some agreements, redoing a subdivision plat, do easements, showing this as a part of these properties. So that's basically what it is, be doing away with the right-of-way once they purchase this. This is looking at the property. You can see here's their buildings here. There's a water tower. There'll still be easements for the tower and stuff. It'd just be closing this off as a private road going forward. Now, we've done several of these around the city, but this is probably the most reason we've had in this area. So our options would be make, of course, again, stipulation, it is subject to them purchasing that property, which my understanding is being currently done now. So we just can't close that off if there's a third party back there. So once they purchase that, they'll own all of them. So motion options, recommend approval to the City Commission to approve the right-of-way closure and change of property ownership, which becomes Dollar General Corporation, including the staff approval stipulation. That'd be my recommendation. 2, recommend denial to the City Commission to deny the Mission Ridge Drive right-of-way closure. Or 3, to further request and include additional information.
Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is something that Dollar General has wanted to do for the past 4 years, and we have met on and off. The thing that's kept this recommendation from coming forward was they did not own that third piece of property. Well, actually, it's more than that, but they did not own that building in the back that prevented abandonment of right-of-way because it would have landlocked that property. Sometime probably by the end of the year, it's anticipated they will purchase that. There will be an agreement between the Board of Commission and Dollar General about how this would function. That's outside the purview of the Planning Commission. Dollar General will take over all maintenance of that street, and I guess Sarah and I met with them last Wednesday, and everything is still moving forward, and I would recommend the approval of this.
Okay.
And that approval is subject to final agreement.
Well, I mean, it's subject to the Board of Commission. This is only a recommendation. First reading will be next week, and then final reading in January. In the January, there will be a resolution that would include the agreement in regards to certain aspects of this
That's
transfer.
Basically, the easements, how far down, and all that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Dollar General has a copy of what we have sent to this point, and everybody seems to be in concurrence.
Okay. I'll look to the board for a motion.
So move.
Mayor Tenen moves to approve.
I have, actually, Mr. Chairman, I have one question, actually,
Okay.
maybe two questions.
Okay.
How does this, or does this at all affect, I guess, the Dollar General connection to Wade Circle?
That's always been a private connection anyway, so I mean, I'm
Wade here.
not sure how to answer your question. I mean, they've got a drive that's gated that goes on to Wade Circle. I mean, it's still planning on being there.
Okay, honestly, it's been years and years and years ago, but I remember driving through there, cutting through eons ago, and so clearly they put a gate up. Okay, well, good. Because honestly, I don't see a negative, I don't see a downside. Am I missing something?
No, sir.
Okay, very good.
Not to me, it is.
Any other questions? You still have your motion to approve? Mayor Tenen has a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Wheeler. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 12, Mark Morris, property owner, requests approval to move a 1,344 one-family detached residential structure at 404 Bass Street for a continuation of a non-conforming residential use. Is anybody here to represent this property? Come on down. We've seen you here before. Are you Mr. Morris?
Morris, yes.
Okay. Adam?
All right. I think our planning commission's probably done more of these than anybody in the state of Tennessee, it feels like sometimes. I think this is our, fifth one we've done. If you remember, in the state of Tennessee, there's a law in an existing residential neighborhood that doesn't have an HOA, which is the case here. To move a house in, the planning commission, and since there's not a homeowner association, has to approve the request. And the goal with the state law was to ensure consistency, value, age, I think the square footage of the home. There were some limits where it could be within a certain range. This property is 404 Bass Street. I think earlier this year, maybe around some early spring, I think, they tore the house down. They looked at remodel. We did a permit to remodel the existing house. It's an old house that was built. Let me get the date on it. 1928 is roughly 800 square feet. You can kind of see it in the aerial photograph. It still shows it. But they determined it wasn't worth the trouble, the condition of it, so they demolished it. By our law, they have 1 year to rebuild. It's a non-conforming house. This area is zoned commercial services limited. If you know this area, Mr. Morris, we've actually approved 2 other house movals in this location. But these are all homes here. There's the commercial businesses up on this end next to Lindbergh, but these are all homes. They're old lots, roughly they're 50 feet wide. So there's limited use for them with commercial, but per ordinance, we allow one family dwelling, detached dwelling, 1 year to rebuild. But the goal is to show consistency. Like I said, the existing house was a 1928 house, 794 square feet. I checked the Davidson County tax assessor's records. Of course, that's removed from the record. They don't have a value of the home now. So the proposal is to move the house in on the left there, 28 by 48, roughly a 1,340 square foot building. It was actually built in 1990. Checked with Wilson County. It's coming from Mount Juliet. The current value, improvement value of the house is roughly $139,300. Keep going here. What is to show consistency, we've done this before. These are updated numbers. I did these last week. These are the current valuations. Building improvement valuation doesn't include property. And you can see of the properties in the area, a lot of them are older homes. I mean, the average age of the homes over there was 1931. And that includes the ones we've allowed moved in that were old, the newer, and the average square footage is 1,200 square feet. So his proposal for a 1,344 square feet be bigger than the average. Of course, it's newer than the average, and the value, as you can see, the average value somehow got removed off, but it would meet that requirement because he's showing 139, and there's only one, two, or three of them that were close to that, so all of them lower value. So per the state law, he meets these requirements. For age consistency, one is exceeding those consistency requirements. The state law does not define if it's zoned commercial, it's a non-conforming use. It doesn't have any provision on that, so that's why we're having to review this tonight. Staff stipulation, tomorrow night they're going to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a variance. 50-foot lots, that zoning requires 15-foot setbacks so on the side, so it leaves 20-foot buildable area. So he's going to request a variance to squeeze up into the 15-foot sides, go down to 10. That way the 28-foot house now will be able to go on there. So that's subject to the Board of Zoning Appeals. They have their own approval process. So anything we do not is subject to them doing that. So motion options approved with staff stimulations to permit the proposed one-family dwelling unit to be moved onto the property since the proposal meets the provisions of the Tennessee Code section regarding the proposed structure, value, age, and size requirement consistency. That'd be my recommendation. Denial to not permit the proposed one-family dwelling to be moved on the property as determined by the Planning Commission. Or 3, to defer it. Mr. Morris has done a great job with the other ones he's put in, so I would hope, and we expect the same with this, but it does meet, my opinion, the requirements of state, what they're looking for. So.
Mr. Morris, you have anything to add?
No, sir, I'd appreciate y'all's consideration. I own several houses in that area, and they all are kept well.
I can attest to that. I've driven that street several times, and you have really spruced up that entire street.
Thank you.
And are you about through with that one that you've been working on?
I finally finished it, yes, sir.
Okay, good. Well, that looked, I haven't gone down the front part, but the rear part of it looks very nicely and very neat. So,
Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board?
Couple.
Yeah.
So I guess my main question is the house that's being shown there, the side of the house is 28 feet and the front of the house is 48 feet. So I'm assuming it's going to be turned sideways on the lot?
We're going to put it in there long ways, but we're going to make put the front door in the front.
Okay,
So, because the other end of it actually has the door. So
okay. So it'll be reconfigured so the front is the front?
it'll match the neighborhood.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And Adam, I guess, it looks like, there's an alley running alongside
Oh,
that
yeah.
property?
A non-improved alley, yes.
What is, is that, it's just an unimproved alley? It's not being utilized at all?
There's only one section that's improved. It's up behind Lindbergh, but yeah, the rest of it, some of it's actually fenced off, but it's just, it's old. These properties are old. You can see they're
Yeah.
probably from the early 1900s, so a lot of them had these 50 or 10-foot alleys everywhere.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Any other questions? All right, looking for a motion to approve, to deny, or to defer. And this will still have to go tomorrow night before the appeals.
Board of Zoning Appeals for the setback variance, that's correct.
For the setback variances. Ms. Wheeler has moved to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank y'all for your time.
I did not voice my approval, but I was an aye as well. Are we ready for a discussion item? Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Item number 13, Mark Shell requests approval for alternative building materials for a proposed 576 square foot accessory building at 307 Rose Hill Drive. Is anybody here representing this? If you come to the front and state your name.
I'm Mark Shell.
Okay, Adam?
All right, Mr. Shell talked to me, he asked about building a building, wants to build a 576 square foot building, metal building, for cars and personal use. We started talking about materials. I told him anything in Goodlettsville over 504, or any new one over 504 square feet, intentions to match the house. And the request, is there any variance or any procedure to talk about alternatives? And that's what this board's for on materials. So the owner's requesting to be able to build the metal building on the property. The property is 1.02 acres, so it's larger property. The zoning over there is R25. So basically, this is a chance to kind of review our requirements on the property itself. The key is to find some kind of limitation on the property. We've reviewed these different locations in the past, and the key was how visible they were from the road. I got a picture, Google Earth. I didn't have time to run and get one, but you can see the road. If you all know Rose Hill, it goes down kind of a steep slope. So, coming from, I don't know what direction that is, but coming down the hill, you would see it. The garage wouldn't be as visible, but when you're coming up the hill, you can see the back itself. There is some landscape in there, but my understanding, the building would be like roughly in this area. Is that what you were talking about?
It'd be on the upper end, and also we had talked, when I turned it in, it was 570 square foot. I'm looking to go a little bit larger.
Okay. Well, what's
So, probably around 900 square feet.
Okay.
But it would just go back, 24 foot wide on the upper end of the driveway there. So it sets way back.
Is this your driveway here?
Yeah, it's a wraparound
Oh,
driveway.
okay. So it'd sit back here. The property falls off in the back, doesn't it?
Yes, it goes downhill.
Yeah. So that's the planning commission review. Do we feel there's some kind of limitation to where you couldn't do, materials to match? The house looks like a primary brick home with a concrete block kind of foundation.
I can show you exactly what it would be on
you
this.
have.
Here.
So 570 square feet, or like he's saying, 900. How big's your house now?
It's got a full basement, and it's 1,300 square foot is roughly on the top.
So 2,600. So it's within the range, even the 900 square foot is within the range of the allowed building. So the key would be for the planning commission to see if there's any limitation on the property. One, not to match a requirement for it to be brick to match, or even, we've looked at other cases where, certain size that were visible, brick were required on this versus others could be more metal itself. So motion options, the planning commission could approve the alternative design proposed if it's 900 square feet. Proposals for a metals construction, or the planning commission deny it if we didn't feel there's any limitation of the property. The key is to find some tie to the property itself. If the planning commission feels different materials, like different percentage of materials, that's something we can talk about, but it's the pure request to do all metal with the property itself, I'd recommend denying. I don't see a limitation. It is a larger property, but that'd be up to discussion tonight if we feel there's a limitation, and if there's any kind of alternate, if like the front could be more brick and mixed in, so. We'll let y'all discuss that. So.
Adam, currently we're at 5 acres or larger where this,
We do have a provision, if you got over 5 acres in the R40 districts and stuff like that, then you don't have to match if it's in behind the house. But this is zoned R25, it's an acre. So in a neighborhood lot, acre's big. It really is. You know, that's what we're talking about. Is there some limitation to property to reduce the visibility where, you know, go where it wouldn't see the building? I mean, it's a one-story building, so it's not like it's 4 stories tall or anything, but it'd be a one-story building to reduce the view from the adjacent properties on the street.
Adam, where is the property location in relation to the new development that's going in on,
It's in front. The Goodlettsville 56, property you referenced, the one on Moncrief, McCoyne, you know, we've been talking about it for years. I can't remember which.
Russell, you know when you turn left on Rose
There.
Hill going up the hill?
I think it's right at the entryway coming
Yeah.
off of Rose Hill.
Yeah, here is the right-of-way they're expanding, this right to the,
I was just curious.
It's about halfway up the big steep hill going up Rose Hill on the right.
so I guess the question would be, if
Is
the
this the
house.
property beside the entryway of Barber Drive?
Yeah, it's the future.
Which is the new 50-foot entryway into the new development? Okay.
If
I
you're,
was just trying to get an orientation of where it
I guess the question for planning commission, this would be where the building would be. You know, coming up the street, I don't think you'd see as much. I know you'd see kind of the front, the gable probably, but coming down, I think you would see the siding.
You haven't started construction yet, have you?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just saw a halfway finished building in the packet, so that's just an example.
That's an example. There would be a 1-foot overhang on it. It would be a residential-looking, nice post-frame building.
We're gonna make sure, so you would think where that driveway, I guess the perfect spot for it, right here,
Yeah, off where
little turnaround part.
off the end where you're pointing there. Uh-huh.
Try to see that big strip there? That's the new road.
So I guess that'd be, what they're trying to look at is just the visibility, you know, coming north of, I don't know what direction it is, but coming up Rose Hill, I don't think you'd see it, maybe some of the side and the top. Coming down, I think you would see,
It sets back
yeah,
pretty good ways.
Has to be in
come back, you would see it coming down the road.
And basically, you just have a garage door and an entry door, no windows. or anything.
Correct. No windows, just, I could put some landscaping around it. It would be an attractive building.
Could you put windows on it?
I could.
I thought it was rooftop.
That would, especially now that you're adding length to it, that would break up that long wall.
I just wondered where.
Okay.
I don't know how long that wall is.
Thank you. Yeah, I could put windows on it.
How long does the building go?
I was gonna go 24 by 36.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I think, and we discussed too, I think we just want to try to make it consistent with the neighborhood.
Uh-huh.
And I think you understand that. We just want to make sure that
Yes.
what we allow you to do, the neighbors are going to follow suit.
Correct.
So if we are lenient with you, it kind of trickles down, you know?
Correct.
So,
There are a lot of different, I know that I don't know when they put the brick matching the house in, but there's a lot of different structures through there that really aren't that attractive. And this would put vehicles and stuff out of sight, and it would be attractive, nice-looking building.
That's a couple years ago when they did the material mansion. Yeah, he's right. You go through a lot of neighborhoods, you see a lot of buildings that don't match the primary. There's several in the street. We put in your packet some of the ones shown. I just think for the planning commission to review some kind of property connection, because people come in, I always tell them what our rules are. They ask if there's any kind of alternatives, which is what this board is reviewing. And I tell them it's really about limitations of the property, like the size of the property where it's not highly visible. We've looked at some cases, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Are all the vehicles your vehicles? You have
Yes,
multiple vehicles?
yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may ask Mr. Shell a question. You said from 576 as the original proposal to what?
It's a little bit over 900. It's 24 by 36.
It would be
864.
Okay,
24 by 36, that'd be just shy, 864.
864.
Thank you.
Adam, what is our calculation as far as how big it can
Yeah.
be compared to what is that? How do we define that?
It's 70%, but he was showing he had 2,600 square feet, with the two levels.
Yeah.
So that'd be 1,800 square feet. So the size of the building is another question, it's just the materials. So yeah, on an acre lot too, you can do 25% of the lot can be covered with buildings. So it's a lot of building people can build.
Yeah.
So he's well under that square footage, but it's just the materials, so.
I'm just thinking from an appraisal standpoint, it's probably a 1,300 square foot house if it's got a full basement, because the basement isn't really counted as square footage. And I'm not trying to take away from him, but
Yeah.
if that
It'd still be under.
still would be
It'd be
plenty,
over
wouldn't it?
900. so.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, very good. I was trying to avoid setting precedents that
I
we
got
don't
you.
want to set.
I got you. That's why I say it's gotta be something with the property we feel has a connection to it, so.
Any other questions? Yeah, I'm a little wishy-washy on it. We spent a lot of time, getting the materials for these outbuildings and, square footage and all that.
You're not gonna get perfect.
It's, trying to be consistent. I would think that if we did approve this, and I'm not saying that at this point that we should, there should be some type of breaking of that long 36-foot wall. Either windows or
I can-
landscaping or different colors, something besides just a bare wall that
Okay.
goes 36
Yeah.
foot.
I agree with you. I could put windows and I could, the building, it was gonna be a taupe color and they can do a wainscot on the bottom. I could change it around some to make it as appealing as possible. I wanted to get around doing a lot of brickwork on it because of the cost.
Have you, not to beat a dead horse here, but have you even checked into about brick? Can you find brick to,
I don't think, the house was built in like 1965. I don't think it's gonna match perfect. I haven't exactly checked into it, but I've seen,
but it's not sitting right next to the house either, so it wouldn't
Correct.
have to be
Correct.
exact on, but.
There's on the lower level, I don't know if you could see, but there's a small stone wall. I would be willing to possibly put some stone on the front of it, around the garage door, but I just didn't want to go all the way down the side.
You didn't want to stone it all the way down the side?
All the way down the
That-
side like
that
a
foundation.
wainscot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another suggestion that doesn't look bad, and are you probably gonna pour slab or are you gonna dig a footer?
Probably pour a slab.
The other suggestion would be to break it up, and to me, it always protects the first 2 foot. Depending on your cost, something you could look at is doing your split face block around the base, like a foot or 2 high, and then drop your metal down to that, and that really breaks it up. And the split face block goes with pretty much any brick. Or you could do they also make like a taupe split face block too. I don't know what the cost would be, but that's something that would fancy it up and your house as well. Just a suggestion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would just say, I know a lot of work's went into this plan that we've been working on for months here, and I know we've been talking about trying to upgrade our exterior products used, whether it be on a home or on a commercial building. I know it's a commercial structure, but it's still an outbuilding that we use, that we required them on 31W. The company that sells outbuildings, me and Miss Judy had some differences on that, but at the same time, we're trying to set our standards across the city. And, I mean, I'm looking, and I'll throw this out there to the board, I'm looking about brick the front and maybe brick the sides that are visible up to the window. Just something that's visible. And I understand exactly what you're saying about the landscaping, and I think that's a great idea. But if you sell the property, the next homeowner may not take care of it the way you intended it to be.
Yeah.
And so I would just put that out there for discussion. And it may seem like an overkill, but I just think we got to be some sort of form of consistency.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. It's just, if I did the windows and just did the front, that's really what I would like to do. If I just put some stone or brick on the front of it and then put the windows in to break it up. I really not willing to go down the sides.
Mr. Chairman, you know I've got an opinion about everything, so let me share my opinion about this. I'm probably, as much as I'm concerned about almost everything that comes before this board, the building materials thing has never been my battle. I've just never been real finicky about it. But in a situation like this, I would say the bigger you want to make this thing, and 900 square feet's pretty big, the bigger you want to make it, the more I'm going to care what it looks like. And so, to me, you know, you come in here wanting 570 square feet and you want a little bit of some leeway on it, I'm a little more inclined to support that. You come in here saying you want to build this pretty large barn in your backyard. Okay, now I'm recognizing that thing's going to be seen by a lot of people, and I want the materials to kind of match what we've requested from other people. So I don't know where the happy medium is. I don't know where everybody else on this board sits on it. I don't like deferring things, but you know, maybe it's worth going back and kind of thinking about what your budget is and what you want to do and what's really important size-wise. And if you need the 900, you need the 900. If you don't, I don't know, maybe that would give you some leeway to do some other design elements. I'm not sure, and again, I don't know how anybody else feels. But I just, as a general rule, the bigger you make it, the more I'm going to want the brick.
Any other comments? Mr. Parnell recommended maybe deferring, and that could be an option. And it will give Mr. Shell the opportunity to redesign and maybe come up with another alternative. We could approve as is, or we could approve with other stipulations, such as Mayor Tenen suggested a foot or two of brick around the base. And I've suggested more windows and landscaping, so I'll leave it up to the board to decide which direction we should go.
Actually, one more. I mean,
Yeah,
are you
one more
interested in redesigning?
Well, it just, to a certain point, I guess I would turn something else in, but I mean, I'd be willing to do the windows and work with it a little bit, but I understand what you're saying on the size and wanting it brick, but it really adding length to it just goes far back. I'm along a hill, so you come up and down, you don't really notice this house that much. Not that it is well taken care of compared to some of the other places, and there are several houses around me that have multiple junk vehicles in the yard, not taken care of, not manicured. This one is manicured, and I understand what you're saying. That next homeowner may not do that, but I don't have any plans of selling it anytime soon, and it will be a nice building regardless. I mean, definitely the windows, and I would work with the front, and I would make it absolutely as nice as possible. And the 1 foot overhang kind of breaks it up, makes it look more residential. But even if I went 24, I'm just going farther back. It's not just, it won't just be a monstrosity.
I guess, so maybe this is something to think about, or this is something I'm thinking about. What's the height of the building from grade to peak?
It's 8 foot, 10 foot sides, 8 foot garage door. Basically, it's just an oversized garage.
Right. I'm just looking.
14 feet, maybe to the peak.
14 to
Pretty low pitch on it.
10 foot, I'm not sure of the roof pitch, it's on here, but it's 10 foot sides allow for an 8 foot garage door.
And it's a metal roof as well.
Correct.
Can I see them prints one more time? It may be a 412, what it looks like. Somebody with better eyes. I think it's a 3 or 412 pitch. I can't read it. It's on there, I'm pretty sure. I can't see. Gotta bring my glasses.
Well, I got my glasses, I still can't read it.
What, from the road, your house, I know it's hard to tell by this.
It's about the same pitch
What,
as his roof.
are you you're below the road, is that correct?
I am. If you take a left off Chevelle,
Yeah,
I'm like 2 houses up, coming up the hill.
but like from the road, say the road's like at one point, like,
I'm going down.
okay, so you're below the road grade. So I guess that's the question, when it's back here, what level of visibility would be?
It's a 412.
Because the property's like that and the building would be, you would see it, especially, I think coming down the hill, you would see it. But it's not, I don't think it's gonna be like it's at a level yard.
It's about the same pitch as his house. It's a 412. It's on here. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not, there wasn't any question about it, the height. We have 18 at the half the slope of the roof, so.
It'll be 14 foot overall.
In the past year or so, when we've made exceptions to the rule, it's been because the building is in the very back part of the property, it's not visible
Visibility,
from the
yeah.
road.
The size of
You
the
know,
property.
and this right here kind of borderlines on that. So, me personally, I don't have a big problem with it, like Mr. Parnell. And like Mr. Parnell, we very rarely agree. But the bigger it is, the more I want it broken up,
Okay.
That'd be.
And I mean, if I did the windows and I can put some brick or stone around the front of it, do some kind of a thing, and I mean.
That'd be my very minimum.
Okay.
And I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'll look for a motion on this, and we'll go from there.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to deny as it's presented.
We have a motion to deny as presented. Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the motion just so it opens up for discussion.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second by Mr. Gilmore. Is there any discussion on this matter before we go to a vote?
So, Mr. Sherrill, so if we were to defer this to give you time to look at maybe a different design of kind of what you heard the board talk about, would you be interested in that?
Yes, yes,
I mean, that way you get your building, but you're gonna have to do some modifications to it.
yeah.
Is that correct? Right?
It'd be on the January 5th.
And if the denial goes through, how long before he could return with another?
Well, I think the way Mr. Barnfield said, as presented, so if
As
it
presented.
changed, it could come back. But, I mean, if you're willing to discuss it more, I guess that'd be.
I would,
No, I agree with what Mr. Barnfield's saying. I just think we need to make some changes to the building.
I would like to
And
see,
after-
yeah, I'd like to see a better drawing, you know, better pictures or whatever, you know, that could sway the vote in January.
Is it
Okay.
So,
kind of the discussion that you and I had beforehand, when you just kind of brought that you're interested in doing it? So, I mean, I would just like to give you time to try to see what the board's saying and bring a different design to it.
Okay. Okay.
so we have a motion to deny as presented, and we have a second, which means that if this goes through, then you have the ability to bring it back before the board with another, with some modifications.
Okay. So I
Mr.
turn it
Chairman,
back in
I make-
January 5th?
I'd like to withdraw the motion.
Mr. Barnesfield has withdrawn his motion, so I'm looking for a motion to approve, to deny, or to defer.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to defer.
We have a motion to defer. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Barnesfield. Any further discussion? All those in favor of deferral say aye. Aye. Motion to defer. We look forward to seeing you in January. We hope we can work this out.
Okay. Do I turn it back in to Adam?
Yes.
Yeah, just go through me, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we're ready for a discussion item.
All right, if you remember last month, we talked about the property on Long Haul Pike, Willis Branch, about possibly being an event center. And what we talked about, we have to create a special condition in our zoning ordinance for it. Right now, it's zoned R40. I don't see us wanting to rezone anything but R40. I mean, keep it the R40 zoning. So it would have to be a special exception within the R40 that would be reviewed by our appeals board. But we'd have to do a zoning ordinance amendment to include that, because right now, we don't have any provision. The only thing really in the R40 is kind of odd. You look at conditional use, you got schools and churches, which, you know, we talk about traffic and impact the property. Those are permitted uses by conditional use in the residential, but not a kind of event center. So what I kind of thought would be, we do like a rural residential, like event center, like agritourism, what the word for it. So these are just some draft ideas. We would have to come back. I just want to get your all thoughts. You know, come in. I could actually have this as a January meeting to take on to the city commission. But one thing, it'd be acreage. What would be the minimum acreage we'd want to see? We had a similar request years ago. It wasn't on a property quite as big as this one. I would say we're not doing this just for that one property on the Long Haul and Willis Branch, but it's the model. If we feel like it's an appropriate use to kind of model it, you know, we just see it at other locations. Because the deal is, once we have a conditional use process in the R40, anyone else in that same kind of criteria could make the same request. I don't mean to get approved, but the same criteria. So the acreage, I think the bigger acreage helps. You know, the one we had before was a smaller in the 10 to 15 acre range. If it was 20 plus, I think that would, one, it would exclude a lot of properties and make the facility not as impactful to the adjacent property owners. Such facilities shall only be located on main streets like arterials and collectors. So the goal is not to put one of these on a road that really can't support it. You know, the key is the size of it also. You know, we talk about different limitations. Some we talk about a 50 occupancy limit on the use of the events going on, or up to 100 people. Some of these agritourism, you know, some have school bus trips. I mean, some of these things can be a lot of traffic, but a lot of these are bigger tracks too. So I just wanted to define what a minimum we would expect going forward. Driveway, the building improvements, all that to be per the city's design guidelines and stormwater ordinance. Anything, if it's a commercial type enterprise, they're building a parking lot, something like that, it would have to meet our design guidelines for drainage, landscaping, lighting, all that. The key is that if we go with this, that someone does a nice facility, that it's not just a gravel parking lot, don't have drainage in it because it's in a residential area. I think the key is if we open it up to allow these kind of use, we want it to be like a commercial enterprise, to be like similar ones we would have as far as design, quality of it. Buildings shall be limited in scale. I thought, do we want to place a limit on how big a building can be? One that really that impacts the occupancy. If we're saying we only want to do these for 50 to small events, do we want to put a limit on the building? Do we want to see buildings coming in at 7,000 or 8,000 square feet for these facilities? And I don't know, this hasn't really been talked about in detail. This property already has, like a stable, it's already got buildings, got a second house on it. But it's more about what I kind of envision these things can turn into. What I've seen, some of these things are awesome class facilities, a lot of weddings, they can do something extraordinary with them. But in a residential area, how big do we want to allow these things, and what size scale we want to allow this? Buildings shall be set back a minimum 50 feet from any side and rear property lines, and kind of get the building a little bit off the neighbors. And then a minimum 250 feet from the front of the road. Typically, these areas are in areas that have, these more rural settings. The houses aren't sitting around the road, so the goal would be not to have these buildings for the events up there too. The goal is to blend in with the neighborhood. Now, if it's in an area where the houses are 50 feet from the road, that's something we could look at different. But I think the goal is to not have these right on the road. Really, the open space is really what the selling point for these are. The proposal would, if you all look at the property at Willis Branch, the buildings they're probably 1,000 feet from the road. Long Haul and Willis Branch there. So the goal is not to up on have these big lots, and all of a sudden you've got an event building sitting right up on the street where the houses all sit further back. And then the goal would be the Board of Zoning Appeals want to see something from the owner. We want to make sure this is a professional RAM facility, like what their operating hours would be, what generally type of events they do, how they would have security, and then possible traffic control for events. And that's really more them to show that we're a professional managed organization, but the Board of Zoning Appeals would want to see that that's part of like their business plan to make sure that we feel comfortable with this being a professional organization. These are just some draft ideas just to kind of get us talking about it, because I do want to kind of shape this into something to bring forward, because I know that it is something that, based on discussion last month, the applicant wants to continue on with it. I know it's something that's for sale, so they want to kind of move this along, not let's sit on it. But I just want to get your all's take. If we're cool with these kind of uses, which they can be great for tourism, that kind of thing, but there's going to be people really, I guess, there's going to be some opposition in neighborhoods if the scale's too big. It's got late night events, a lot of lights, a lot of noise. So
I was going to say, I think there will be opposition. I can kind of see why there'd be opposition, on this particular property. A lot to think about on that, from my perspective anyway. So it's just, I know the properties surrounding this are, large, and so that's, but it's still, I could see why people might be leery of it. And, and other structures like it,
Adam, on the 50-foot setback, side and rear, what if we go, if we're looking at, in my case, like a 20-acre tract, 20 and above, putting like a 200-foot.
okay, increase that dimension.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, because in the R40 district, where a lot of these be, the side setback can be lower. I was trying to think maybe doubling it, but yeah, if we want to do the bigger acreage.
Because really, 200 feet is not, 50 foot is really close for any kind of commercial or vent, or whatever you want to call it. But I would definitely
So
look at
increase
that.
those
And then
setbacks up.
I'd look at 500 feet off the road. If we're going to be looking at it, and I'd look at 20 acres.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on it?
I think I would agree with going to the higher, I was thinking 15 acres, 20's fine. I don't, 10, I don't like 10. I'd be okay with 15, 20's okay. The event occupancy thing, and if you just run a little calculation of, goodness, even just for easy numbers, 10 people per acre on 27 acre, that's 270 people. And 10 people an acre is not a whole lot of people.
Yeah. That's just your traffic, yeah.
So the event occupancy, that looks low to me, especially if we're gonna limit it to 20 acres. If you went down, and I guess you could do a number per acre, like a 8 people per acre or
Some
whatever,
scale, yeah.
just do something like that. I'm a little less concerned about the front setback. I'm more concerned about having a gigantic barn put in the front yard with the house behind it. I don't know if we could kind of create something where the house is in front,
The house, the
no matter
primary
what the
use.
setback is.
Yeah.
And the barn events
The event
center
space.
actual place is behind it, not in front of it. And then certainly, I guess because we're not creating a zone district that this is approved. We're creating a special use within a zone district that they can come and ask for approval.
Correct, yeah.
So I think with that, that last bullet point is probably the most important one, but I think that's what they would have to answer to come in and get their special use permission.
So how many people would that be for a 20-acre lot?
If you did let's say you did 8 people per, and on a 20 acre, that's 160 people.
How many cars would that be?
If you did,
To me, that'd be.
okay,
And,
yeah,
and,
you're,
and how much
40 or
parking
50
areas
cars,
you have to
probably.
have in the middle of a residential area, and
Yeah.
things like that. And
yeah.
in this particular
Yeah.
venue that we're, kind of discussing, I would think there'd be pickup trucks and horse trailers and I don't know, I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but I hadn't really thought
Yeah.
about that before, but that seems like a lot to consider.
It's definitely a lot to consider and think about. It's the reason I don't necessarily want this to be so restrictive that we don't have anybody even asking, because there may be situations where this is the actual better alternative than we approved something tonight that on consent agenda without even really going deep into it, because it was an R40 and it was a subdivision and it met the requirements. Somebody could buy that property and subdivide the daylights out of it. And we have no real leg to stand on to say no. It's already zoned a R40. If they use our subdivision regs and follow the regulations, we're gonna approve it, because we kind of have to. So the alternative to a potential facility that's being requested could be, I don't know, a lot of houses and with a lot of cars and a whole lot of people every single day. And that's, I don't know, is that better? Maybe that is better. For one, I like this particular, I know we're looking at something a little more vague here. This is just a general idea, but we all have in our heads what this potential request is about. And that particular potential facility, I would rather see that than another subdivision, personally. So I just want to make sure that whatever requirements we put out there are reasonable, that it's good for our city, because in the end, that's who we're fighting for, and that it at least allows the potential for somebody to come in and at least make a request, and then we can determine if it's good or not at that point.
Any other comments?
I just would add to that, Ms. Parnell, that as a resident of that immediate area, there are a lot of questions I would have when it comes to the types of events we're talking about. For any of you who have ever been around horse shows, for example, they're not quiet, lots of traffic, lots of music, lots of intercom work done. There are many, many questions I would have about this type of event structure in that neighborhood, because that's a very different kind of neighborhood. Yes, there are a couple of churches within walking distance, and schools and so forth, but we would need to ask lots of questions, I think, about noise control and traffic control and security and all of those issues. And I would think with this group, we would ask those questions.
Okay. Any other discussion? Where we go from here?
I'll bring in probably another draft for y'all. Shoot for January, another draft for y'all to look at, since we'll have I think we're gonna have a single item on it, but that'd be it. So I'll bring that back to you. That's really what I wanted, just to get your all's thoughts on it. One quick thing, training. I sent y'all an email a couple weeks ago about some training opportunities. You can do it online at your leisure. Some of the good topics, unfortunately, some of them kind of geared more to a little different than what we would see, but it's good to kind of see. This was through the Tennessee Planning Association.
When will that be?
I emailed you. It's online. You do it just whenever you.
Adam, could you resend that?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I got it.
It's been a couple weeks, but other than that, so.
I got a couple things before we dismiss, but are there any other comments from the board before we dismiss?
I'm not a member of the board, but I got one question before Adam goes to all this work, and this isn't public comment. Is this something that you're truly pursuing on the property? Okay. And I just asked because Adam's fixing to go to a lot of work that, if it's something that couldn't come to fruition, that, I'd rather that time be invested somewhere else.
Any other comments before I say what I need to say? Okay, before we close the meeting, just want to say a couple of things. Next month at our meeting, we'll be electing chair and a vice chair. Mr. Parnell's already indicated to me that he would prefer not to do it again as vice chair, so we'll need to find a replacement. As far as I'm concerned, if you want me to do it, I will do it. If somebody wants to step into this role, I will very happily set aside and let you do it. There will be no hard feelings on my part at all if you choose somebody else. So just keep that in mind, think about that. And lastly, there's a gentleman on my left that I've been on the board 20 some odd years. And he's always sat on my left for some reason. I don't understand that. I don't know why we're joined. But tonight is his last meeting. He is retired. He told me his age, I couldn't believe it. But he has been on this board for 30 years. I know I know he had some health problems. When I became on the board, he wasn't here. Then shortly after that, he came back on the board. So I think he's been a board member for over 30 years. Jim Hitt's in the audience. He probably remembers when back that long ago when he was when he first started. But Grady, you have been an exceptional member of this board, and I appreciate all the hard work, your insights, your demeanor, your you see stuff on a print that I would never see, and I appreciate that so much. You've been a good friend, good colleague, and I wish you well. His wife Amy is here, and thank you for 30 years of letting him come to these meetings. And I know he probably could have been home doing some work himself, but you allowed him to come here, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Grady. Don't make yourself a stranger. Come back anytime and tell us what we're doing wrong. All right.
Thank you, Mr. McNeil, from the city as well. Our gratitudes are, there's not even words for our appreciation for what you've done for over 30 years. So for myself, and I'm sure Mr. Ellis, thanks a million. Thank you, buddy.
Any further business? I told Ms. Wheeler we'd be out by 9:15. I think I beat that, so meeting is adjourned.